The war between the heroes and the Imagined Order is underway. Two teams have been formed involving the Marvel superheroes and the superheroes of the Fortnite universe to obtain the pieces that are needed to finally be able to overpower the Imagined Order and their advanced technological foothold over the Zero Point. With Spider-Man leading his group to find the Zero Point fragment located in the Savage Lands, Iron Man went with the Foundation and the scientist to locate and begin repairs on the mech once piloted by another of the Foundation's group, the Seven. But while both groups have had their fair share of surprises, the biggest yet was in the mech's cockpit. Paradigm, the pilot of the mech, the traitor to the Seven, was actually still inside of a robot from the last fight. This is Fortnite x Marvel Zero War Issue 3. Let's go. As the Paradigm is pulled out of the cockpit of her mech, Foundation quickly charges his gauntlets and points it towards her. How did you survive? Paradigm sits down, telling him that it was her armor. It kept her in stasis, and the mech protected her from the worst of the weather. It's good to see him too. Foundation says that this isn't some tearful reunion. You're a traitor. You betrayed us to the Imagined Order. Give me one good reason not to execute you where you stand. Paradigm gets up, slapping Foundation's hand, telling him that maybe because everything he just said was wrong? That because there was a giant monster coming and she was the only one who could pilot the mech? The Imagined Order was perfectly content letting anyone on the island die so that they'd have a clean slate. They only gave her a shot because they were worried the monster would pose a threat to the Zero Point. Even though she was uniquely qualified to pilot the mech because of her world's relation to technology, they still demanded that she did things their way. Because if she didn't, they'd have created a doomsday weapon to annihilate the monster and every innocent being on the island. She believed that they would do that. Scientist says, I believe her, Foundation. Wiping the island clean and starting over is exactly what we're trying to stop them from doing. Foundation scoffs. I'll take her at her word, but I'm not letting my guard down. Paradigm points to her helmet, stating that this is her surprised face. Wait, it comes to my mind that you came here looking for the mech and not me. Which, the mech itself is pretty dead. We could repair it, but it'll take forever to power it up. Iron Man tells her, yeah, don't worry about that, because right now, some of my friends are back on my world trying to get a crystallized piece of the Zero Point as we speak. But to most people's surprise, Spider-Man and his team are fighting off lizardmen ninjas in the Savage Land in search of that Zero Point fragment. As the Imagined begins to tear through the battlefield, Jones tells her to take it easy. They need at least one of them alive to question. Spider-Man webs up one, telling, hey, don't worry, I don't kill, it's my thing. Call me old-fashioned, but heroes should hold themselves to a higher standard. Wolverine slashes through one of the ninjas, stating, I never claimed to be a hero. And Shuri stabs another one. My duty is to protect Wakanda at all costs. Imagine then throws a boulder at one, crushing them. I'm just mean. After the fighting is over and one ninja is left unharmed, the team goes to interrogate them, but all they do is hiss. Spider-Man asks Jones if he speaks Lizard Ninja, and Jones tells him, yeah, I know 342,000 languages, and I'm afraid hissing lizard isn't one of them. Shuri tells him not to worry. She and Wolverine can track down the creatures to their den. Wolverine begins to carve into a Triceratops, telling them all that they're going to make camp tonight, and we're going to leave in the morning. Triceratops is actually pretty good eating. So later, after they make camp, everyone begins to dine on the Triceratops, with the Imagined looking at Wolverine asking, how old are you? I'm just shy of 200, though it ain't really common for most folks. How could you tell? She says the way he carries himself, how he doesn't waste words. And Wolverine tosses an eaten bone, telling her that he knows better than to guess a lady's age, but he figures that she's in a similar situation, older than she should be. Imagined says that she wouldn't know what her natural lifespan is. There's nothing natural about her. She and her sister were enhanced by their father in every possible way at the genetic level, before they were even born. Wolverine laughs, telling her that Daddy sounds like a fellow that I've met, named Sinister. Imagined tells him that her father's name is Gino. And Wolverine pauses. Gino? Isn't that the big bad that we're fighting? Yep. The founder and leader of the Imagined Order, formed to figure out the perfect organizational system for an ideal civilization. It just hit me. You calls yourself the Imagined and your sister is Order. And I also know what it's like to be changed. Imagined goes on stating that she doesn't mind that, but it really gets to her why it happened. She and her sister were born from privilege, making them immortal. At first they liked it, felt as though the Omniverse was their playground. But her father's obsession with perfection got the better of him. When one of his fellow members of the Order's inner circle made a bet with him, he couldn't resist. He'd sent them both into the loop, the part of Reality Zero's island where beings lose their memory and knowledge of who they are, where they're forced to fight. The bet was that she and her sister would be the first ones to break out of the loop, and how quickly. Which they did. Just they weren't the first or as fast as Gino thought. When they went back home, they were met with themselves, snapshots, duplicates of people created by the loop. They were them, just shaped more by fighting to the death than being raised as special. They weren't good enough, so their father replaced them, just like that. And she really has no idea why she's telling Wolverine any of this. Wolverine tells her, because it hurts, and I'm here. And maybe because I can tell you two things. First, your old man's a tool. Two, the way you talk about your sister, she is special to you. Both of you are to each other. You've got each other, so take comfort in that. And hey, for what it's worth, I agree with you. The next morning, Wolverine and Shuri begin to track the Lizardmen, stumbling upon a large, advanced building in the middle of the jungle. Spider-Man looks at it, telling them, okay, I'm getting a feeling that this is way bigger than Stegron. And then suddenly the team is slapped away by a giant green tail. Stegron walks forward with 3 bulked up dinosaurs. Nothing is bigger than Stegron! Then another voice tells him, yeah, you've trespassed on the domain of the High Evolutionary. I have no quarrel with you, but I do know what you seek and I will not be giving up the Zero Shard. Imagine tells him, yeah, how about that? And she jumps into the air, punching the Evolutionary in the face as he shouts, you struck me! As the Evolutionary fires an energy beam from his eyes, narrowly missing the Imagined, she grabs him by the hands to fight for control. He then tells her that she's impressive. Work with me and we can create perfect beings to survive what is coming. Imagined tells him that what is coming is that she is going to kick his ass. But while Wolverine, Shuri, and Jones hold things outside, Spider-Man sneaks into the stronghold to try and steal the Zero Shard. However, he reaches the facility's core where he finds the door has already been blown open. It's that moment that his spider sense alerts him to an energy beam that is shot out from within. Inside, Dr. Doom is holding the shard. You have my thanks for easing the path to the Zero Shard. I had neither the time nor the inclination to fight the Evolutionary for it. But while I'd enjoy crushing you all under my heel, Doom is called to greater things. But I leave you to my minions. A gateway opens up with more Lizardmen ninjas stepping out. Man, suckered by lizard ninjas. I'm never gonna live this down. Doom enters the portal. Farewell. You may rest assured that all creation is safe in Doom's hands. Yeah, that sends me chills, not safety. Back outside, the fighting stops as the Evolutionary sees that he was robbed and says that it's as he thought. Doom has used the shard to travel to Reality Zero. Jones takes out his teleportation gun, telling them all, well, that settles it. Time to fire up the portal device. Imagine looks at the Evolutionary stating that she has a personal reason to not like him, but it seems that they share a common foe and they could use his power. The Evolutionary tells her that her power is quite adequate. However, no. Without the shard, I must focus on the survival of Earth's species. I wish you the best of luck. As everyone begins to enter the portal, Stegron quietly asks, you deceived them, right? You have a plan to destroy them? But the Evolutionary tells him no. Such petty matters of revenge must now be put aside. For my brief time with the Zero Shard, what I learned was chilling indeed. Come, we must load my storehouse of genetic samples into a vessel, and I hope that I can survive what is unthinkable, yet likely inevitable. The end of not only our reality, but all realities. And that is issue 3 of the Fortnite Marvel crossover featuring Spider-Man, Wolverine, and other characters. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and this is the Comicstorian channel, where I give you dramatic readings of your favorite comic books, and I cut down what's going on to prevent copyright problems. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to know the next episode as it comes out, and I'll see you guys next time right here at Comicstorian.